What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and I'm probably the biggest nerd on the planet. When I'm not working on reviews or playing stuff just for fun, I like to research the history of games, figuring out which projects succeeded and which ones failed, and figure out why. And I've noticed that over the course of the last 10 years, more and more projects are considered failures even if they sold millions of copies. But why does this happen? From what I can tell, it looks like we're just entering a new era where everything is being treated much more business-like, and I'm not sure that's for the best. It seems like the artist side of stuff is getting taken over by executives in business suits. That's why we're seeing the rise of microtransactions, loot crates, and every single piece of DLC they can possibly get out of you, because they're trying to make sure that every game's sale is the maximum amount of money. A perfect example that encapsulates this phenomena is the Dead Space trilogy. These games actually sold really well. In fact, they totally made their money back, but Electronic Arts still considers them a failure overall financially, which is weird because the first one sold a couple million, the second one sold extremely well, and the third one was only a small step down. But it was bad enough that they just killed off the entire franchise. That's really strange to me. It seems like everybody within the industry is obsessed with something they call estimated projected sales. Your numbers actually have to sell as much as they think it's going to. If your first game sells 1 million, a lot of times they want your second game to sell at least 2 million. Every single number below that is counted against it. Even if they manage to greenlight a third project, then this one better sell 4 million or it's considered not worth the money. There's this increasing pressure to perform well, and because of it, I think it's actually hurting overall franchises. It's so ridiculous. I don't know if you know this, but Mass Effect Andromeda came out earlier this year and everybody acted like it bombed. But it didn't. It made its money back. In fact, they could keep that studio open for another couple of years and make a good sequel. That game had a lot of problems, but they could have improved it. They could have done something with it. They could have at least made some story expansions. But they didn't, because it actually fell short of the estimated sales projections. You know, what got me on all this investigation is the fact that Tales from the Borderlands, as you can see I have a Borderlands wallpaper back here, I love Borderlands, and I'm a pretty big fan of the Telltale Games series. So when I found out that these two ideas were coming together to make an original game, I was pretty excited. Playing through it, it's pretty dang funny. It's basically just a point-and-click adventure, but that's fine. Well, here's what's interesting. Inside the studio itself, they considered this project a horrible failure. In fact, even after they made the first 2 episodes of what would be this entire series of the Tales from the Borderlands, they were told, hurry it up. This is bombing, just shove it out. Finish it as fast as possible. While they were working on it, with each consecutive part they completed, they would take more and more of the team away until eventually it was a very small crew just shoving out the final episode before running away. That's extremely weird when you think about the fact that the Borderlands games, or the Telltale series, are very cheaply made. They all run on the same graphics engine, they all have a lot of the same controls. Developing them is extremely cheap. Everything they did with this was pure profit, but since it didn't compare to their previous masterpiece, the Telltale Games Walking Dead series, it was considered a failure because of, again, the estimated sales numbers. With big studios like WB coming into the picture, these are often run by investors, people who don't really know or care anything about video games, but have millions or sometimes even billions of dollars to invest in making them. But there's a catch. These people want a massive return on their money. If they're spending $200 or $300 million making Shadow of War or a Shadow of Mordor game, they're hoping to get hundreds of millions back, or else they'll cut any possibility of a sequel. I understand that, but I feel like they're going too far. They're trying to maximize or multiply their number to such a ridiculous degree that they're actually stifling art. I wish more stuff was considered the way indie games are kind of judged. You know, I'm playing one this week called Time Recoil. It's super fun. It's basically Hotline Miami, but with time travel. You have this little gun, and every time you shoot somebody, time slows down a little bit. And if you get enough consecutive kills, time will basically stop and allow you to teleport around the map and complete missions. Extremely cool. And you know what? This is done by a studio of, I think, 15 people called 10 Ton Games. Even if this sells only 20,000 copies, it is a huge success. But these giant studios have the problem of, if they don't sell millions and millions and millions of copies at full price, along with microtransactions and season passes, they're all going to get fired. Because the people at the top aren't just looking to make profit, they're looking to make astronomical amounts of profit. That's the reason that we're probably never going to see Mass Effect again. That's the rumored reason why we're not getting another Devil May Cry. While the last one sold decent, it didn't sell enough for them to actually make more of them. And it's just starting to kind of crush me to see all the good ideas that are canned because someone's not willing to sign a paycheck to get it made. There's so many times where the word failure is actually scaring people away from completing projects. It seems like we're in an unfortunate age where everybody wants to make Horizon Zero Dawn. You want to make a daring new project that sells millions and millions of copies on the first day, or else it's not worth your time. Everybody's trying to bet that. It seems like in the investment game, everybody wants to make sure that they have the #1 winner, and if it's not one, they just can it. I think I understand this is why indie games have really been taking over the entire market over the last couple of years. Because they're able to gamble. They're able to do more daring stuff. When they made PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, this guy, Brendan Green, probably didn't expect to sell even 10,000 copies. But now it's actually one of the most successful games in the world. It is flying off shelves, it's the most streamed game, and it's the most concurrent players on Steam right now, or close to it. And it shows that's a project that was willing to gamble with their success to make sure they made something new. They weren't afraid of the word failure, but now that just gets tossed around by company people everywhere. Well, what do you think of it? What's a game you love that might be considered a failure? Let me know in the comments down below. Also tell me something you wish would get a sequel despite the fact that the last one didn't sell great. You know me, I'm obsessed with Silent Hill, so I wish deep in my heart that we somehow got Silent Hills to finally be released, but that is just a dream. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. If you heard a couple weird noises while I was recording this, it's because my roommate is like messing with a boombox in the hallway, so sorry about that. Oh, hey! I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.